Alright guys, on one hand, I'm gonna hold up Dr. Mundo, and on the other hand, I'm gonna hold up Ornn, right? Now, let's say you have to choose between two top laners. Are you gonna choose Mundo, who is going to press Q and build Warmog's first item, or are you going to pick the Ornn, who has a whole lot of CC and Masterwork items? Well, if you chose Ornn, and not the hand I forgot to hold up, you're wrong, because the right pick here would be Mundo. Now, you might be wondering why Mundo is so prevalent these days, and the main reason is because of one streamer, and I can't really pronounce his name. I think it's just Alois. This guy has been terrorizing higher elo league for like the past month and for years now. He's a very talented Mundo and Riven player, and by his sheer mechanics alone, he has managed to make it so in almost every one of your solo queue games, there is going to be a Mundo pick or a Mundo ban. There's like no in between right now. And you might be wondering, like, why all of a sudden, right? And the main thing is how effective Mundo is for the amount of gold he has to earn. For someone like me who is hard stuck in Emerald, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm your average Emerald D4 player. This character could probably get you to Masters at least. His laning phase is extremely safe, and there's very few ways to counter this character. If you take Vayne and Gwen out of the equation, you are left with a bunch of skill matchups which Mundo can easily win by sitting and pressing Q. It really is that simple. The benefit of being a manaless champion league is the fact that you don't really have to think, and being a manaless tank is fucking insane. Mundo's Q, which I'm gonna put on screen to my right here, it's my first time ever doing this, so it's a little sloppy, is such a good ability. Not only is it a ranged skill shot on a tank of all things, right? It does current health damage. And you might be wondering why that's so important. Well, that makes it really easy to last hit stuff. And that also makes it so when you trade, you're always getting a decent trade. 20% of someone's current health rank 1 is a very, very strong ability to have, especially as magic damage, because for a lot of people, the main thing you're going to rush as a top laner are tabbies. Very few matchups you're going to rush Merc Treads because of the value you get for tabbies, right? You can build tabbies into Kale, and that makes all of her autos do a little less damage, and it's not as troll. I mean, you can still build Mercs. I mean, she does magic damage, so it's not, you can go either or there. And that's kind of how it works with a lot of top lane matchups, but with Mundo specifically, right, it is very hard to figure out what you're going to build. Because Mundo does a lot of things. He's a tank, so you have to be aware that he scales as a tank. So for some top laners, that's the difference between rushing Bork and rushing Kraken, which right now anyway, Bork and Lethal Tempo is like the most popular thing to do right now anyway. But besides that, he just is very effective for how bad it is possible to be with Mundo. His kit allows him to trade extremely safely with his W and E as well. His E just yeets a minion across the room. It's fucking stupid. It does bonus damage based on his bonus health. It's insane. And that's excluding the damage on his W as well, which also does magic damage, and then heals him for 50% of the gray health, like as if he's Tom Kent or Pike. It's crazy. So you just have a tank that can do trades well. He's a tank, so he can build tank items. It's nutty. And you have to keep in mind that since he is a tank, and a tank that does really good damage, he scales extremely hard into the late game, and it's not like he's building anything crazy. He's rushing Warmog's first item every game, which is why this is so effective even at lower elos. Well, elos above gold, let's say, because most silvers are not going to be able to execute this well, to be fair, but anyone above silver, perfectly fine with this. The main thing that makes people lose on Mundo is having bad fundamentals, and fundamentals is something every League player can work on very easily. As Mundo, your main goal is to just live laning phase, and the biggest thing you can learn is your wave management in League. If you learn how wave crashing works, and then you also figure out, hey, I don't know what to do when my wave crashes, how about I go roam, I do this, do that, the third. You have all these options and it can just become stronger and stronger as a player through those mechanics alone. Now, learning all that and then also being a tank player, you're basically signing yourself up for the easiest ride of your life, which is why this is so frustrating for a lot of people. Mundo also just has the ability to fountain dive you, which is insane. Like, no matter how fed anyone gets, you will never get fountain dived in this game. But not until recently, and I started playing back in 2019, I've never seen anyone other than Rise with minions be able to fountain dive you. It's absurd. And to think people are losing games able to do this right now is crazy.
14-10, I'm not stopping at anything. Watch this.
They don't even care, bro. Alright, show how it's done. You have old souls. Dude, you can dive her. Dive her in fountain.
Okay.
You dive her in fountain, by the way. And she's dead. She's not so bad, bro. Dude, how would you actually react to that when you're playing the game and you get fountain, though?
Honestly, with how good Mundo is right now, I think the best thing everyone should do as a player is just to learn one character that can easily counter Mundo, that you don't have to put much thought into. Honestly, what I do every time I'm in a Mundo lane and they first pick it, I'm locking in Fiora, I'm locking in Vayne, I'm locking in any character that can abuse Mundo's very simple game plan. And the thing with a lot of people, I feel like they don't really realize how simple this is. Like, Mundo might have a lot of damage late game, but if they're building Warmogs, all they have is sustain under turret. If you can get them to shove and they're going ghost, teleport, which is the most common thing you're seeing right now, you just get to free all in them all the time. And you might be thinking, how am I going to all in them if they're just sitting on the turret? Well, first off, not everyone's alois and not everyone's going to have the mechanical skill to just press Q, which you would think would be the simplest thing. A lot of people playing Mundo right now will walk up to the wave and not give a shit because of how strong and how popular he is into the late game. But you can abuse that as a top laner, mid laner, whatever you want, because you know that person has an ego and they're going to do that simply because they're doing a strategy that's not their own. It's just like when Sion was being played mid, jungle, top, and people were just proxying waves all game. It's the same exact thing. The easiest thing I've found is just picking Fiora and picking Vayne with Ghost. Now, I don't know how your team's going to respond to that if you want to copy my strategy, but that's what I find most effective. There's plenty of champs that are good in the Mundo. It's just finding your specific pick. Right now, I don't really have a good idea outside of those two. I mean, you have Gangplank passive, Aatrox is strong. You have so many options to beat this character, but it does come down to how you play with waves. And wave management isn't as complicated as it looks for a lot of people. The simplest way I can put wave management into terms, you crash it into their turret and make sure it fully crashes. It'll come back to you as long as you don't hit the wave. You can try this out in practice mode. It's mad simple. And I'm just saying this for people that struggle with that. Like, I was in Platinum forever, and I didn't know how to crash a wave for my life. And then one day I just looked it up and figured out it was easier than I ever thought. I used to think, oh, it pushes into your turret, and then it stays in your turret. No, it's not that simple. Well, it is that simple. But instead of it staying at your turret, it's going to slowly push back into their turret. And it, again, takes 10 seconds in practice mode. So, what can you do? I really don't think Riot should nerf Mundo, because it's like, it really isn't that bad. I know the late games are pretty bad. I mean, you can see that clip, for example, like, it's absurd. The diving is absurd, but guys, it is a tank, and he's just going to walk at you. And it's not Cassante with 8 dashes. You know, he doesn't have a copy pasta, you know? I can't just go look up the Mundo copy pasta. I mean, there probably is at this point, but I mean, we're never gonna get something like the Showmaker copy pasta again, unless they make something absurd like Cassante launch again. But that's all I really wanted to talk about. This has been the craziest week of League in a long time, besides the $20-$40 skins getting released with no new voice actors. That's a whole nother topic, but it is what it is. Besides that, peace out.